And if, in addition, they can bring home a medal, that's even better. Gwen Bax and Joris van Dijk are among those who will fulfill that dream. The two bike riders are brothers-in-law. They decided to take part in the Africa race to live the adventure they had seen on TV when they were younger, and also to follow the footsteps of Gwen's father, who was also a bike rider in his time. Even though this is their first experience at this level of competition, the two Flemish bikers managed to reach Mauritania in an excellent position, very close to the top riders. Gwen Bax wants to reach Dakar, just like his dad did 20 years ago. But he does even more than that. In Agjuj, he snatches the silver medal of the loop stage, just 7 minutes behind the fastest rider. In the last special stage, he is even very close to setting the fastest stage time.
Zeer gelukkig.
I'm very happy. Now I'm waiting for the next rider. I think I have maybe one this time. In the end, Gwen Bax finishes in 4th position, an excellent result for this newbie. Meanwhile, his brother-in-law manages to step on the podium itself. When he left Belgium, he did not imagine this could be possible. I never thought I could do so well. I just wanted to enjoy myself, no matter what the classification was. But of course, as time goes by, you look at the standings and you try to do better. I try to do my best. Dominique Robin is relentless. With his KTM 690, he has an edge over the less powerful bikes in the fastest tracks. But his machine is less easy to maneuver in the sand dunes. Nevertheless, Dominique knows that the victory is within reach, so he goes for the attack every day, trying to catch up with the leader, ready to seize any opportunity if Pisano makes a mistake. The final fight is on. Today, I could feel the pressure rising. Mikael and I were keeping an eye on each other. We were staying close because none of us wanted to take risks. Then, towards the end, we helped each other. He helped me lift my bike. And now that's it, the classification is set. Robin knows that the final victory is now out of reach, but he does give it his all. In the stage before last between Agjuj and Touela, Robin sets the fastest stage time before an incomprehensible fall in the last stage, just 1 meter before the finish line.
À 1 mètre du drapeau jaune. Je pense que je me suis pété la malléole. À 1 mètre là.
Ah là 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 là. T'as vu les jeunes un peu? Incorrigibles.
Pisano had never competed in Mauritania before, but his week is perfect. He stays in the top group and keeps his rivals in check, pumping up the volume in the stage between Chamy and Agjuj, 466 kilometers of mighty sand dunes. Pisano was the favorite on 2 wheels from the very beginning, and he played his role perfectly from start to finish. The driver has a clear strategy, and he makes sure he keeps his bike safe when necessary. That is how you win great races like this one.
This
morning, my mechanic told me to be careful when I change gears, to take it easy. I've been keeping his advice in mind all day long. I've been very careful. Even when I stopped to refuel, I checked my radiator and I added water to it. Now I have a small edge on the others, and I just want to bring my bike home safely. In the last 3 stages of the rally, Pisano manages the competition equally well. In the end, Pisano and his Honda 450 win the 6th edition of the Africa race.
C'était très long, très long.
It was very long and difficult. I think I underestimated how hard it would be in Morocco, and my physical preparation wasn't enough.
Regardant les étapes, je pensais pas que ça allait être aussi dur au Maroc. Donc voilà, je réalise pas encore.
I don't realize that I've won yet. I think it will sink in once I am in Dakar.
Que je réaliserai vraiment la victoire.
Here is the final classification of the Africa race in the box category. Pisano is the winner, and Dubois ends up in 6th position. There has been a lot of rainfall in the month before the Africa race, bringing a touch of green to Mauritania's dry landscapes. But the dunes and the sand are still there. Belgian driver Jackie Lomans was impatient to get there. The dunes are his favorite playground. His Toyota is perfectly at ease in the sand, but one of the rules puts a damper on Lomans' enthusiasm. The 4x4s cannot use a built-in system to inflate and deflate the tires, so Lomans and Driesmans have to get out of the car before every series of dunes to check the tire pressure.
In the sand stages we lose 20 minutes per day, Duffy's on the biggest, yes. So I think they should have a look at ranking, not one cheap, one special this year. It's not a shame to be after Schlesser. He's, I think, unbeatable here in his own race.
Here is another Belgian driver in top shape during the Mauritanian week. Stéphane Aura, his Dunby now works like clockwork, and Barbier also understands better his job as a co-driver. The two friends now make up a great team, and they perform at their best. On 2 occasions, the team from Brussels narrowly misses the top spot, and gradually they climb up several spots in the overall standing.
Et puis mon copilote fait très bon travail, de mieux en mieux.
My co-driver does a very good job.
On se coach.
He's getting better every day.
Misère.
We coach each other in the car. He tells me to watch my wheels, to slow down when I'm too fast. That's because we're such close friends. When you have this kind of relationship, everything flows.
Tout fonctionne.
Even though we fight sometimes, but not very often. Who's your best friend?
C'est toi.
After a near-perfect week in Morocco, the Hummers from Kazakhstan appeared in the 5th and 11th positions. But in Mauritania they have a very rough ride. For Shagirov and Sazonov, the land of dunes and wind has been really difficult. Navigation mistakes and mechanical problems, they have seen it all. And while they were well positioned to reach the top 5 after the first half of the race, they appear in the 15th and 17th position at the end in Dakar. Things are even worse for Balázs Szalai, who appeared as a serious contender against Schlesser and Lomans. The Hungarian rider loses himself in the dunes. His Opel V8 lets him down just before reaching the base camp of Touaila, 2 days before the end. He makes it to Dakar, but he's lost hope of winning just one stage or to have a good score in the final standing. However, he did enjoy this experience, which reminded him of the golden age of rally raid. Here is an image that you won't see very often, Jean-Louis Schlesser stuck in the dunes. His blue buggy is blocked on a big bush of camel grass, and Schlesser and Magnaldi will need a long time to get out of this delicate spot. Just a few seconds later, Jean-Antoine Sabatier makes the exact same mistake. He loses a lot of time and sees the victory slip from his fingers. The problem was not that we got stuck, it's that we broke our power-assisted steering. So the steering just felt as heavy as that of a big truck. So imagine how hard it was to leave that position. Now it's over for us. We'll keep going, but we know that we cannot win the rally. Even though they don't have a separate classification, the vehicles with the rigid axle are clearly competing among themselves. There were 6 of them at the beginning of the Africa Acre race, and these cars are extremely reliable on all kinds of terrains. Bull or Wildcat or Desert Warrior, the principle is the same. These are cars with a solid axle that look like a Land Rover or a Freelander. They are easy to maneuver and very difficult to brake. All 6 cars made it to the end in one piece, and the budget to prepare one such car for a race is reasonable. In the end, the Lithuanian team of Petrus Rimaza is the fastest of the rigid axle cars, even reaching the 9th position of the overall standing. This is not Batman's car, it is a buggy, named after his designer Cotel. Together with Schlesser, Florent and Cotel are probably the most experienced on this competition. They maintain a steady pace throughout and reach the 8th position of the final standing. The Fromont father and son came second last year, but on this edition, things have been more difficult for Yves and Jean.
200 mètres, ce sera sur la droite, la piste de droite, 457, à partir de maintenant.
After a lot of problems, they managed to make it into the top 10 and even to set the fastest stage time on one occasion. That's one of the beauties of rally raid. Sometimes you do great and the next day, nothing works.
Disons, on n'a pas de visibilité avec ça devant quand on conduit.
In this car, the visibility is quite poor, so I'm here to tell him to go left or right, to follow the tracks as well as possible in the dunes and not make mistakes.
C'est important de bien faire suivre avec la main.
We communicate a lot with our hands, without words.
Attention, monte là-haut, descend, parce que sinon, attention derrière, c'est cassé.
And sometimes, like today, we understand each other very well and everything goes smoothly.
Une bonne corrélation, et après ça passe tout seul comme aujourd'hui.
René Mege had promised it at the beginning. 2 of the 5 stages in Mauritania are particularly difficult. Many have lost their way in the dunes and a lot of time. Here are some examples. Coco and Mick Janvier got married in June. A few months later, they are taking part in the Africa Eco Race with a vintage Toyota for a honeymoon off the beaten track. The typical honeymoon on the beach, that's not our thing. We like to be on the go to discover new landscapes and cultures. And the Africa Race allows us to do this.
L'Africa Race nous permet de faire tout ça en fait.
This kind of adventure requires careful preparation. For more than a year, Mick and Coco have been dedicating all their spare time to this project.
On a tout fait tout seul.
We did everything ourselves. There is no textbook telling you how to organize a rally raid. So we had to discover everything as we went along. We don't have a support team either, it's just us, our tent and our car. That's what's a bit crazy about this, taking a 33-year-old car to do a journey like in the old days.
Faire un périple de l'époque, tout d'origine.
All these efforts are well worth it. Mick and Coco are having the time of their life on the African tracks. They are enjoying the incredible landscapes and can count on the support of the other drivers. Everything is just wonderful. And I feel great, even though it's quite tiring spending 12 hours in the car every day. We were a bit worried that we'd be on our own, but in the end lots of people come to see us and offer their help. It's really friendly. It's a wonderful adventure to share. In the trucks category at the end of this edition, Bowens, Bergmans and De Groof are number 5. Noé Lessers, together with Lowers and Borboom, finish in 4th position after having moved the entire sand dunes with their own 2 hands. The The fight for the second spot is amazing to watch. Elisabeth de Jacinto fights until the very end. She gets stuck several times in the stand, but stays well positioned against Miklos Kovac, in great shape in the second week of the competition. Kovac and his powerful yellow Scania have gone from one big mistake to a resounding victory in the difficult loop around Agjuj. He even reaches the third spot of the combined classification for cars and trucks.
Mondjuk rá, mai napunk is egész jó sikerült azért.
It's been another great day for us.
Ugye hosszú, gyors pálya volt, a végsebesség.
It was a long and very fast stage, so we had a disadvantage because we still have problems with the top speed of the truck.
Itt vagyunk megint. Várjuk a holnapi napot.
Atravessamos o R para a esquerda, faz mesmo a esquerda.
A mere 2 seconds set Jacinto and Kovac apart at the beginning of the last special stage, so the outcome of the whole race will be determined in the last 202 kilometers. Kovac goes at full speed, he sets the fastest truck time and steals 15 minutes from Jacinto. The Hungarian driver appears extremely happy on the finish line on January 10th.
It should be a nice race today, but
Congratulations.
While the battle for the second position is raging, Tomasz Tomeček is the great winner of the trucks category. Tomeček took the lead of the competition from the very beginning, and he stayed firmly on top until the very end. Last year, Tomeček had to surrender to the huge power of the Kamaz trucks. This year, he gets his title back, and he goes home with a third victory under his belt.
And no, it's not easy, of course, but I love this kind of job. It means it's easy for me, for us also. Yes, this is like my dream. It's super.
Enjoi and Barbier only needed one stage victory to make this race perfect, and they get very close on 2 occasions. But in the end, the Belgians have to make do with 2 silver medals. Still a great performance considering that their car is much less powerful than many others, including the cars of Schlesser and Lomans. The 2 friends finished the race on the 3rd step of the podium just 10 days ago. They couldn't even dream of such a success.
C'était pas évident sur papier en tout cas parce que c'est une petite voiture.
On paper, this really was not easy. It's a small car with a small engine. But I knew that this Volkswagen engine is unbelievable, in particular on the sand. I knew that Mauritania would be great for us, so I was waiting for it. And the car is great, it has brought us to the podium.
Un potentiel génial cette voiture. Donc voilà, on l'a prouvé sur le podium.
Just one step higher on the podium, there's another Belgian driver. Jackie Lomans is second after a model performance, steady and reliable on his Toyota pickup.
The rest day we drove to maintain the second place. So we did not attack, we just tried to drive a good rhythm. We know that if we would not have mechanical problems, no one would take that place away from us. So the plan worked.
Schlesser is indeed impossible to beat. The driver and his buggy have been once again clearly above the rest of the pack. This is Jean-Louis Schlesser's 6th and last Africa race victory. Next year, he will focus on organizing the rally.
Bah, écoute, elle était très sympa. C'est peut-être la plus sympa.
This race was wonderful, maybe the nicest of all.
C'est vrai, elle était assez sympa.
Beyond the competition itself, I found this edition really friendly. The atmosphere was just great.
J'ai trouvé encore un peu plus convivial que d'habitude.
In the final standing of this Africa Eco race, Sabatier is in 4th position, and Tomeček and Kovac make it into the top 6. According to the tradition, the final show of the Africa race takes place on the shore of Lake Rose in Senegal. The last stage does not count for the final standing. It's just a few kilometers of pure fun on the beach before the prizes are awarded. It's a beautiful celebration for all the participants who've made it to Dakar. Toyotsbacher is the winner of this last friendly match. He beats the winner of the Africa race, Michael Pisano.